But this is awesome. You know, one of the things, and let me give you real quick. When you were to go back, you know, we're getting close to Christmas time, right? And so sometimes when you get to Christmas, you kind of wonder. I have to talk kind of fast because if I don't, I'm going to cry. I was sitting here crying while she's singing this song, I Promise. It's just one of those songs. When I heard it the first time and then I heard it, it just kind of like touches your things. But remember the first Christmas gifts that you ever got and how much it touched you and everything. But let me ask you this question real quick. And that is this, guys and gals. What are you giving for Christmas? Not what are you getting. What are you giving for Christmas? Because so many times what ends up happening is that over the past few weeks we've been so caught up and running back and forth and trying to get the Black Friday blues or midnight, whatever they are, and all of the stuff that's there that we kind of lose sight of everything that's going on. And if you were to ask somebody, you might run into somebody that says, nothing, I'm getting nothing, I'm going to give nothing to anybody. I'm a Scrooge. I just think, bah humbug, you know, Christmas. What is the meaning of Christmas and why do we even do these things? And then as you're shopping and everything, you realize, man, time's run out. And it really is Christmas. And we tend to forget because, so what are you giving? Have you been one of those people that you go down your list and you make sure that I got this person one and oh man, I forgot I'm working, I got to get the boss one and the boss keeps talking about his dog and I got to get one for his dog and he talks about his goldfish and I need to make sure that I get some for the goldfish too because you know I need to get all the presents that I can for the boss to be able to just kind of get some brownie points, you know, that he just kind of thinks that everything's okay and everything's all right. But sometime, I don't know about y'all, but I really believe that the ideal Christmas present is money. So if you have any, I would greatly appreciate it.
That was pretty subtle.
Huh?
That was subtle.
Yeah, that was really. But because a lot of times what ends up happening is you end up getting two kinds of Christmas presents. Some that you don't want and those you don't need. And it's like, wow, I had all this stuff on my list and it just didn't get any of it. But what I'd really like to talk to you about is where did the gift of giving gifts at Christmas time, where did that even start? And where did this all begin? Because there has to be a time when we do all of this stuff. And so I won't read for you, but the scriptures that I'm going to talk about this morning is in Luke chapter 1, verses 26 through 38. And it's the first, talks about the first Christmas. And when you start talking about some people and they start talking about where did Christmas begin, some will say, well, it was the merchants, the American merchants, they did it. Or maybe, I know what it was. There was a guy over here in Germany by the name of Kris Kringle. And he started doing this and they started doing all these things. And this is where Christmas presents all started. This is where it all began. But can I tell you something that's wrong? Christmas presents of giving started a long time. And the presents that were given were not your typical gifts that you would have thought about, because when you first begin to look at what really happened about this Christmas, the first Christmas gift exchange actually occurred between God and us. When you go back and you begin to look at it, you begin to understand that there were really only two individuals that attended that first Christmas. And there was a conversation that started like this. The one came down and they were loaded down with one huge gift. That was absolutely an awesome gift. And as he was doing it, as we read this passage, we need to look through the gifts that God was giving Mary that first Christmas. And this is how the whole first thing started. So let me talk about the first thing that ended up happening here. And that was when there's this angel that comes down and begins to start telling. And what happened was, this angel that came down was not one of those cute little chubby people that sometimes we believe angels are. You know, we get this idea, like, you know, we watch these movies and watch all these things and we think, oh, well, that's the angel that came down. But what happened was, it really wasn't like Clarence in It's a Wonderful Life. And it really, this guy was by the name of Gabriel, and he came straight from God. And what happened was, when you talk about an angel, the angel means a messenger, okay? And this was a messenger that basically was coming straight from God. And you had this young girl, and you need to understand something. Mary was not 20-some years old or 30-some years old. Mary was a teenager. And what you need to understand was that here is this teenage girl, and all of a sudden this angel shows up. And I don't know about y'all, but if you notice teenage girls today, you could stand right next to them and start talking to them, and they won't even recognize that you're there. They seem to be in their own little world. They're zoned out. And you could be telling them, like, clean your room, or you need to do this and you need to do that. And it's like you get finished, and then all of a sudden they say, were you talking to me? And by the way, who are you? But here you have this angel showing up, and it's like, wow, you know, what do we really do? But here it was that the angel comes up and shows up to Gabriel shows up to Mary. And sometimes you need to understand something. Sometimes you need to realize that God sends his gifts in unusual ways. He doesn't like send you to the mall and say, hey, this is really what I want you to have for Christmas. And so, by the way, I've got you some keys to a new car, and it's wrapped up underneath the tree for you, and you can just go out and pick out whatever you want, you know. But if God wanted to do that, he could. Not sure that he would, but he could. And that's the way that he does. But sometimes he gives us these little unusual packages in our lives. And what happens is, if we don't recognize those, and if we're not attentive, then we're going to miss the gift that God was given. And if Mary wasn't looking and wasn't observing and saw this angel, she would have missed a great gift that was going to change her whole life. So what happened was, the first gift that Mary got, you know what it was? A scare. And you think about it for a minute. Here she is. She's standing there, minding her own business. She's engaged, thinking about, you know, wow, I'm going to have a marriage pretty soon. And all of a sudden, here comes this angel and starts talking to her. Now, I don't know about y'all, but if an angel showed up and started talking to me, I think I'm the pastor. And I understand, y'all think, man, he's kind of religious, right? But I'm going to tell you right now, if an angel came and stood next to me, I think first thing I'd do, I'd be scared. It would take me a little while to say, hold on a minute. I got to check some references. I really want to know. You're telling me you're what? Do you have your angel card that you could show me? It doesn't work that way. But at first we would kind of be taken back, and Mary was taken back, and she got this scared. But sometimes you need to understand something. Sometimes when God comes into your life, and there's some things that he starts doing and unsettling your life and starts telling you to do something, what do? We get kind of drawn back. Hold on a minute, this is my comfort zone, and you're asking me to step out of this for a moment? We need to talk about this, and we need to really discuss this. And so here she is. She's giving her a scare. And when you look at this, the angel says to Mary, don't be afraid, Mary. You found favor with God. You will be with child. You give birth to a son. You're able to, and you will give him the name Jesus. He'll be great. You'll be called the Son of the Most High. The Lord God will give you the throne of his father David, and he will reign over the house of Jacob forever. His kingdom will never end. And so what was God going to do? God was going to take himself and squeeze him into human flesh and give him to Mary. And Mary saying, wow, right? Sure. Hold on a minute. We've got some issues here, because did you ever notice some of the things? Because she said, how in the world is this going to happen? And that was the first thing that she asked. She said, you're telling me that I'm going to have a child and his name's going to be called Jesus and he's going to be the Son of the Most High and I'm going to do this? How is this going to happen? He's saying, already has. Say what? No, I've had this conversation with my mom. This doesn't happen this way. Hold on a minute. And then you got to understand, Mary was raised as a very strict Jewish daughter. And to be married, to be engaged, and now all of a sudden she's pregnant. Here's come some fears that she's getting. And not scared. She's now getting this present of fear. What's going to happen? There's this guy I love, and I'm going to get married to him. I'm engaged to him. And how am I going to go tell him, call it off? This ain't going to happen because I'm pregnant with a child. I don't know how, but an angel came and told me so. And yeah, right. Sure. She's scared because she knows what's going to happen to her family. Her family is going to be shamed in the whole community. How can you have a daughter that's young and pregnant? You can't do that. And as a matter of fact, we're going to take her and drag her out of your house, and we're going to drag her through the streets, and everybody's going to see her, and we're going to take her out here, and we're going to stone her to death. She's scared. And this is the present that God is giving her. And she's afraid. She's asking the question, will Joseph stick around? Will Joseph promise? Will he stay with me? All of these things. And then what's she doing? She's sitting there and she says, not only are you giving me scared, but God, you're giving me trouble. I didn't ask for any of this. This is not the way it was supposed to happen. We got engaged, and we're going to come to a point of being married, and we're going to live happily ever after, and we're just going to raise our children as great Jewish children and just bring it, all of these things. But what she didn't understand, that the last gift that God was giving her was a tiny little gift. That gift didn't come wrapped in a box for her to unwrap at Christmas. We read the story when the Bible tells us and that here, how God became flesh through his Son, and she's holding this baby wrapped in swaddling clothes. It wasn't some great thing that she got from Marcus Neiman or Target or I'm sorry, it's that nice French store, Target. You know, or not from Kohl's or Walmart or anything, but she's getting scared. But you know what? Every year, ladies and gentlemen, we knock ourselves out to try to find the best gift that we can to give to one another. Something that each other doesn't have. And there's one thing that we tend to forget. And that is this. If you were to get an invitation that President-elect Trump was coming to your house, or he's coming out here, and you've got an invitation to attend, and you know that this is going to happen in this great banquet hall, and you've got an invitation to meet him, what would you do? And I'm not asking whether you like him or whether you don't like him. But you understand that what ends up happening is there's going to be a mood in this banquet hall of a great celebration. One that you've never ever seen the likes of before. It is going to be absolutely fantastic, absolutely wonderful. And you're invited. You would do everything you could. You would put on your best. You would do everything to go to that banquet hall to meet him. Because, wow, a chance and an opportunity to meet the president. Once in a lifetime. But yet, can I tell you, the greatest invitation has already been extended to you to attend one of the greatest of all bashes that will ever be. His name is God. And it's called the marriage supper of the Lamb. And we're all invited. And you know what he's asking? What will you give for that invitation? You see, because what God is asking you to give this morning and during this time at Christmas, he's not asking you what kind of presents are you giving to everybody else. He's asking, what kind of present are you going to give to me? What kind of present do you have to offer to the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords? What kind of present do you have to offer? You say, I don't own anything that's so great that a king would want, that a Lord would want. I don't have a present that is so great that anybody would want. I'm a nobody. But let me say this to you. The best thing that you could ever give God, the one thing that God is asking you to give, the greatest present that you could ever give is yourself. You. And this is the thing that he's asking, because you need to understand something. What did Mary do? When the angel Gabriel said, Mary, you're going to have a child, and she asked this question, she's getting scared, and she's telling Joseph, and Joseph says, I don't understand this. And then all of a sudden, you understand that what Mary is saying is, God, if you are telling me that I am the one that is chosen above all others to be able to bear your son, your child, and it's with your child, then I'm surrendering my whole life to you. The only thing that I've got to give you today, God, is me. She didn't have a lot of places. She didn't have a lot of things. They hadn't been married. Joseph learns the trade of being a carpenter. And we begin to say this because what we need to understand is what God is trying to say to us is that Christmas, ladies and gentlemen, is not a time of receiving, but rather Christmas is a time of giving. Of giving. God says it's better to give than to receive. And what we're looking for is how many presents are underneath that tree. It's got my name on it. My kids come around and they ask me all the time, Dad, what can we get you for Christmas? And I keep telling them the same thing year after year after year after year. You don't have to give me anything. I don't need anything. I've got everything. And they'll always come up and they'll give me a gift card. You know, that's what they do. It's gift cards. Okay, so that I can use because then I can go buy whatever I want. Okay, most of the time they end up giving me Lowe's or Home Depot, you know, something like that. But God is asking you this question this morning, and that is this. We are coming to the point of Christmas, and he's asking you the question. You've looked at everybody else on your list, and you've got all of their presents wrapped, maybe, maybe not, and maybe not even bought. But my question to you this morning is this. What gift are you giving to God? Because you won't know what he wants? He wants you. He wants you. Not just part of you. He wants all of you. As Kara was giving her testimony and she was talking about all of her whole life, she wanted to sing. And that was her dream. You know how many people try out for American Idol and The Voice? And America's Got Talent. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people try out. And you know how hard it is that you got a passion to do something and you got a dream to do that. And everybody keeps shutting that door. And everybody keeps shutting that door. And everybody keeps shutting that door. And finally, when you give everything to him, isn't it amazing how many doors he opens? Doors that always seem to be shut. People that said, there ain't no way. And then all of a sudden, have you ever gone back to some of these people and sang to them? and sing that song, How Do You Like Me Now? But you understand what God wants? God's not asking for a bunch of money. He's asking for you. And do you know something? No money can buy your life. None at all. But can I tell you something? Jesus gave his life as a ransom to buy your life. He purchased it on a cross. He died for you because that's how much you mean to him. There are soldiers today that are dying on the battlefield so that you can have freedom. And we honor them as we justly should. But can I tell you something? The greatest soldier of all time died on the battlefield that you and I face every day. And that is with Satan. And do you know what? He won. He won. And he purchased your life and my life and the keys to our lives. And he owns that. And he's got the key to unlock your life. If you'll let him. If you'll let him. This week we've got a young man in our presence that Christ unlocked his life this week. And he now has a freedom that he never had before. And what I say to you is this: God is offering that same freedom to you right now. Kira's going to come back and sing a song of an invitation. And as she does, I'm asking you this question. Are you willing to give him the only gift that you can offer him that is worth anything? And that is you. And say, here I am. Here I am, Lord. I give you my life. Can you say to him, Lord, I promise. I promise I'll love you forever and I'll be with you. Because can I tell you something? That is his promise. No matter what. Hello, this is Pastor Chuck Cotton from Calvary Baptist Church. First of all, I'd like to say thank you very much for taking the time out to either listen to our sermon or to watch it on video. We are grateful that you've actually taken the time and hope and pray that it has been a blessing to you as it was to us as we delivered it to our congregation. We ask if you have any questions whatsoever that you email us at pastorchuck@calvarybaptistmiddletown.org, or you could come and give us a phone call, if you would please, at area code 513-423-7251. I'd like to take this opportunity to also invite you to come to our church and visit us, if you would please. We actually have small groups on Sunday morning starting at 9:30, with our morning worship following at 10:45. Prior to our morning small groups, we also provide donuts with coffee, milk, orange juice, a time for fellowship, get to know each other, have a good time before we actually break out into our small groups for Sunday. Our worship services are uplifting, they're fast moving, and everything in our service is just a fast pace. But we do take time every once in a while to slow down as we feel the Holy Spirit moving, and we never want to hinder it in any way. We also have on Sunday evening, during the school year, we have Awana, and Awana starts with the Puggles, actually from age 2 all the way up through high school. And during that period of time, we also have a worship service. Both of these start at 6 o'clock and end at 7:30. Our Wednesday night, we have a Bible study, which starts at 7. We generally finish about 8:15. We would love for you to come and visit with us. Don't have to dress up. Just come as you are, because to us, it doesn't matter. You're a child of God, a creation of his, and so to us, you're important to everything that we do. Our motto here is building the kingdom one life at a time, and we hope that we have a chance to visit with you, get to know you as you get to know us. So thank you, and may God bless you.